Hey guys, Andy here from Mediocre Hobbies coming at you with another Horus Heresy video. Games Workshop has very kindly sent me out the new Legiones Astartes Battle Group box, which contains a bunch of the new plastic Mark III Iron Armored Marines, and then a couple of extra special bits. I get another one of the Land Raiders, which I'm very happy to get my mitts on that. But also I think the most special thing in the box is the new Deredeo Dreadnought. If that's how you say that, Deredeo, I have no idea. Now, I have not managed to play a lot of games of Horus Heresy since it has been redone. This has been a problem for me. I just don't have the time to fit it in, but I do love getting the miniatures and getting them built and painted. Now, so those miniatures don't sit on a shelf being unused, painted as Sons of Horus, like my Sons of Horus force, which has never seen a tabletop. What I've decided to do is I've started to add in all of those different vehicles into my 40k armies. As you can see here, I have my Sakaran, and obviously a pair of knights painted for my Black Templars, and I thought I would add the Deredeo Dreadnought to that same force. The story that I have behind myself, including all of these things in my Black Templars force, is the concept that the Black Templars are in command of a Gloriana class battleship. This is one of the largest spaceships to ever apply the stars. It was gifted to them by Rogel Dorn at the split of the legions. Seeing how they already had the phalanx, they did not need another gigantic capital ship, so they gifted it to the Black Templars, and they've been using that as their main battleship ever since. Now, a Gloriana class ship has got some immense storage, crazy amounts of personnel on board, and I'd imagine it would have quite a lot of relics on board as well, seeing how it was a Legion's assault ship and transported legions of space marines across the stars. So I imagine they have all kinds of funky things tucked away in there to be used. And that's kind of the story that I pull from when I'm wondering if I can justify adding these things into my force. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. My Black Templars can have all of the cool stuff they want. Yeah, and I plan on painting a bunch of other things for them soon. As you can see, I'm also very much fond of walkers for my Black Templars, so I think this works out perfectly. So let's see if I can make a Deredeo or a Deredeo, whichever way you're supposed to say it, fit for my Black Templars. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. It's gonna be a little bit different. Okay guys, so this is the beautiful new plastic Deredeo Dreadnought. I love it. These are one of those models where actually the first time I seen it, the images years and years ago, and they first posted up, I was like, I don't think I like this. It's a weird shape I don't like. And then it wasn't until I went into Warhammer World and saw one built and constructed and sitting in the cabinets that I changed my mind. And that has happened to me many times over the years. And it's something that I really do think that a lot of people should take to heart. The idea that maybe something isn't ugly, it's just badly photographed. Maybe you don't dislike something, it's just badly photographed. And when I say badly photographed, I don't even mean that the photographers are bad and did a bad job. Sometimes it's just really difficult to take photos of certain objects. It's just difficult angles. You can't really get it right. You can't convey it. That's why I definitely appreciate the 360 that Games Workshop do. As for how I'm going to paint this up, like I said, I'm going to be adding it into my Black Templars. I know it's a Horus Heresy vehicle. I know technically it shouldn't belong in a force like this. There's probably no Deredeos or Deredeos. I'm going to keep saying that, both of them, and I am kicking about in the 41st millennium. I'm sure some chapters have some stuffed away. I think if any chapter is going to, the likes of the Black Templars is going to be one of them. So I'm painting it like I do all my traditional Black Templar stuff. So the model got sprayed black, then it got sprayed Leadbelcher, and then it was on to applying the base coats with the contrast paint. So I used Black Templar to apply to all of the armor panels, and then I went up into Flesh Tears Red for all of the red segments of this. I did get carried away and forget to show a couple of paints, so I do apologize. I did eventually do these rocket pods, the fronts of them in red as well, because obviously for my Black Templars, weapon casings tend to be done in reds. I kind of realized when I started to apply the bone that wasn't going to work. I basically painted this shield, took a step back and was like, where else do I put bone? Oh no. Eventually I decided on this huge panel on the left hand side of his leg, basically because I couldn't figure out. Usually it's the big shoulders that go on it, and every Dreadnought except for this one has big shoulder pads, so I could paint those in the same kind of bony white color that I do for the rest of my Templars. After I'd seen that there isn't that, I decided to go back and paint over the red sections on the Deredeo with my bone color to have that color so it would actually match in with my Black Templars a little bit better. After that I was on to Retributor Armor Gold. for the only tiny bit of gold trim, which is up across the body. Very interesting fact about this plastic miniature, the section here that I'm painting with the big Aquila, there's actually 3 complete ones of those for this kit. So you can have one that kind of puts you for the Sons of Horus, you can have one that's like this, which is very Imperial, or there's actually a blank one. So obviously if you have a specific legion, if you want to do salamanders or something, you can smack the blank one on, and then you can obviously add this to transfers and stuff that you want from there. So I think that's a really clever idea that they've done that. So after all of the base coats are on, it's going to be over to Nuln Oil to shade the entire piece down. And while I'm waiting for the shade to dry, I'm going to apply some texture paste. And then we're going to have a little chat about the sponsor of today's video, which is of course Air Hobbies. Air Hobbies is once again a fantastic independent hobby stockist here in Ireland. They have, I believe, the largest selection of miniatures of any store in Ireland. And that is a constantly evolving and added to set of products. They literally add week to week extra kits, extra game systems, everything. They're very good for that, investing in themselves and investing in their business and making sure that we have all the things that we could ever want for the hobby. My favorite thing, and the thing I often talk about, is the idea that if you live in Ireland, you can get free next day delivery on a product if you spend over €60. And like I said, this has saved my bacon on a number of occasions where I'm sitting here doing a project that's important for me for a video and I run out of a paint, or I don't have any base material, I don't have any spray, glue. I'm like, oh no, this is a nightmare. Air Hobbies shows up the next day. All my headaches are solved. If you're curious about Air Hobbies, I will leave links below. You can go check out their website for yourself and see the crazy selection of stuff. And I'm sure they will be pre-ordering this amazing box set for the Horus Heresy, available today on their website. So go over there and check them out. Let them know that I sent you. I'm sure they will be happy to see from you. Thanks again, Air Hobbies, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, now back to this Dreadnought. As you can see, the basic material isn't quite 100% dry yet as I've thrown the contrast on. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer to kind of dry brush up the base. So it's time to start working on layering up the rest of this. So we're going to start with the Shopti bone, and we're going to use this for all of the bone parts. Now, this may confuse you, but for me and my Black Templars, I decided to push away from white shoulder pads and white detailing, and I just went for kind of a softer color. I went for a kind of an ivory or a cream or bone color for those sections. So all my Black Templars shoulder pads, all those iconography, everything that's supposed to be that color is a bone. And I literally think that I did the right choice with that. I find that the black and the white pushed together is just, it's too stark, it's too kind of jarring. I think the softness of the bone on the black, the metallic black, I think works a treat. And a lot of people, until I actually point it out to them, they don't even notice. It's not something that jumps out to you that's kind of inherently wrong. And funnily enough, now when I look at another Black Templar line, I see the white scheme, that's when I'm like, that's wrong. That just looks weird to me. It's a bizarre choice, but it's a choice I made, and a choice that I'm very, very happy with, and one that I will continue to do for the rest of my Black Templars. And my Black Templars have absolutely no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Unfortunately, just like most whites and stuff, the bone color is quite weak, so it does take 2 or 3 coats to get a smooth part, especially on big flat areas like this huge leg panel, or the big rocket pods across the his back. They're also going to take a couple of coats. The interesting thing that I also found about this particular kit is you get the options for the auto cannons, obviously the giant plasma cannons, and then the rocket pods on the top. But this Dreadnought does indeed, in the Horus Heresy, have extra options that are still in the rules for a las cannon array and some missiles on top. So obviously these are not in this kit, so I guess in the near future we can hopefully hope that we're going to get another one with those options, or an upgrade kit to be able to field those bits and pieces as well. Now I'm going over to Mephiston Red to layer up any of those red details. Red is also a thing that plays a big part in the Black Templars color scheme. It usually denotes kind of a veteran status. You know, the Sword Brethren stuff have red in their armor on their trim and stuff. So for a kit that is this old, this venerable beast that's probably been serving the Imperium for 10,000 years, probably in stasis for most of it, but obviously he will be quite revered. So I would imagine that in the eyes of the chapter, he himself will of course be a veteran, and I've earned the right to wear red in whatever format he wants. And that will play into my choice of transfers that I will use as well. I'll definitely be adding some of the Sword Brethren red crosses across the hull of this thing. And once again, to tie into this, the guy is a veteran and a beast. And I'm taking my time layering up the weapons, of course, and with those red casings, I want to get those looking sharp and nice, as These are really key features of the model. You're going to be paying a lot of attention to them. People are going to be looking at them a lot. So I want them to look really nice. So I did spend quite a bit of time layering up those red panels. And yeah, I think I made the difference. So before I start weathering and dry brushing some of this with some of the silver, I will of course need to add transfers. So I'm just going to touch up the gold first. So I do my normal gold, silver highlight on the gold, which is just a little touch highlight. If anyone doesn't understand what I mean by touch highlight, please let me know in the comments and I can try and make a more concise video about what that means. Because even when I say it, I don't know whether I'm conveying kind of the way that I highlight gold, but I do think it works a treat. I was going to dry brush across the rest of the hull now, but then forgot that I haven't put on transfers yet and I want the transfers to be weathered as well. So I took a quick break and threw transfers all over this thing. And as you can see, both knee pads, both shin pads, and then there's some red crosses underneath the whole body. These are once again pushing it more into the realms of being a Black Templar, and hopefully people can see the difference when I add those. And then as you can see, I just have a large flat dry brush with some silver paint in it, and I'm just dry brushing up the hull a little bit, catching all those sharp edges, giving the idea of some kind of chip and worn damage. I'm not making this thing have crazy amounts of battle damage like I do for kind of my other dreadnoughts, as I still don't see this thing as a front line fighter. It is an anti-aircraft and support vehicle. So I'll be standing kind of further back from the main firefight, kind of letting off hordes of plasma bolts and missiles and stuff like that. So it's not exactly a berserk dreadnought or anything like that. Same kind of idea with the ballistic dreadnought. I don't see that thing stomping in the middle of a battlefield. It is more standing back as an artillery piece. Adding some Talazar blue across those silver coils for the plasma, it gives an absolutely stunning result. And as you can see, the dry brush of silver caught all the edges of the red as well. Acted as if I've spent a lot of time doing some edge highlighting. I have not. It was very quick and easy to do, and I absolutely love the result. So with the blue done, that basically brings the painting of this thing to a close for me. Obviously there are things that I did. I painted in the red eye lenses. When I painted the red body, I didn't show you that. I reckon I could have gone back and added some purity seals to this thing. I think this will be the only dreadnought that I've painted for my Templars that doesn't have any purity seals. But purity seals are a very easy thing to kind of paint up them on a sprue and then glue them on around the model. I think it needs it, and I think I will go back. Here's the base all tidied up, looking well, trim looking clean. And now I'm just going to throw all those parts on. Here is the missile pods, and as you can see, I'm a big fan of the transfers. Red missile pods. Two beautiful plasma weapons. And here it all is as one solid piece. And I always love the very end of a project when you get to put all the parts together and see what you've been working towards and you're happy with it. And I, for one, I'm definitely happy with this result. I think it definitely will work very nicely in my collection of Black Templars. And to finish it off, I'm just going to show you a couple of moody still pictures I took of it. Some high def stuff so you can see what it will actually look like on a battlefield, as opposed to under these harsh lights that I use for recording the videos, which I think when a model has a lot of metallics, it kind of bounces back a little bit too much and doesn't give you a true idea of what it looks like. So hopefully these pictures will answer that for you. Well guys, we did it. I got a Deredeo or Deredeo, still not really sure how you're supposed to say that, painted up and matched into my Black Templars force. As you can see, it's now sitting pride of place amongst the rest of the dreadnoughts for that force. It now brings 5 dreadnoughts to my Black Templars force so far. It does look a little bit small compared to the rest of the Redemptor chassis vehicles I have already. I guess I need some Leviathans, some Contemptors to go inside and make it kind of at home. But I really like how it turned out. It was a little bit trickier than I thought. Halfway through the project, realizing it doesn't have any shoulders, then having to rethink where all of the cream or white was going to go. But I think we figured it out in the end. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about my idea of switching Horus Heresy vehicles and stuff into my Black Templars force. What you think they look like. Do you think that kind of works? What do you think my story is to where they get it from? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not already. It does make a huge difference. A huge thank you to all my patrons. Without you guys, I would not be able to continue doing what I'm doing. If you're interested in getting involved with that as well, links below, access to a private Discord server, and an extra video every single week just for you guys. I think is a pretty cool rewards. I really appreciate you sticking around at the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one.